This is a picture of a young boy from PositiveParenting.com. He's being forced to do homework that he definitely does not want to do. You can see from the not so much of a smile on his face, and he's stressing out over it. And this is probably a feeling that we've all been pretty familiar with, because homework is something that has been part of our lives since kindergarten and pre-K. But the truth is that homework is not worth the trouble it causes. This is what my speech will be about. The definition of homework from Merriam-Webster is this: work the student is given to do at home, research or reading done in order to prepare for something. Now, it says in order to prepare for something, but the question is, why can't it be done in the class? Why can't the preparation be done in the classroom? Now, this is not just your typical speech from students saying, I hate homework, homework isn't good, we shouldn't have to do it. There are actual facts behind what I'm going to be saying. So contrary to popular belief that homework prepares students for life and hones needed skills, homework is actually detrimental to the learning process and not worth the trouble it causes. Homework has the reverse effect of the initial goal. First of all, homework causes stress and anxiety that is unneeded in students. From pre-K and on, these students are doing homework, having to do this stuff at home whenever, they've learned it that day in the class. They're going to stress over it. They're going to worry about it. They're going to stress their families out because, their families probably aren't, so a lot of times they aren't qualified to help them out and teach them what's going on. It causes a lot of worry for families. Also, it's a time waste. It's just time that could be used much more efficiently. It takes away from the learning process because whenever students are forced to do this, they're going to rebel and say, well, I'm not going to do it. And then they're spending more time in class getting in trouble and working on their rebellion instead of learning from the teacher and what needs to be done in the class. In this article by Sayland and Schliff, it's called An Examination of the Homework Practices of Teachers of Students with Learning Disabilities. They talk about some of the different things that are wrong with homework. One of those is the lack of feedback. Feedback is something that's very important when it comes to students and their learning. They got to know what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right. And in this study that Sayland and Schliff did, it showed that the majority of the teachers did not give feedback. They didn't even give a grade for the papers. They're not keeping up with the policies that they said they would in the first place. And this is making homework have a very dramatic twist the other way. It's not working the way it should. Now, keeping in mind this extensive list of disadvantages, it's hard to believe that some people think that homework is still a good thing, but this idea has gone on for a long time that homework needs to be done, and people just believe this. People believe that children need something constructive to do all hours of the day. Let's go to school for 8 hours a day, and then all the rest of the hours, you need to watch some constructive videos, you need to do some arts and crafts, you need to do this, you need that, you need to make your brain as big as possible, eat, go to sleep, and start all over again. Now, in this, there's an interview by William Crane. It's called an interview of Alfie Kohn. Alfie Kohn is a famous writer who wrote the Homework Myth. He writes about how homework is not a good thing, how people need to get rid of homework. And Crane interviewed him, and Alfie Kohn pretty much said, look, there's nothing wrong with a student wanting to go home and watch a little TV or do something that's not so educational because it's not going to kill their brain cells, he said. And he goes on to this long explanations of how students don't have to be doing something constructive all hours of the day. They can have some fun too. They don't have to be doing homework. That's what school is for. The class time is for the work. Now, all these benefits that people say that it helps them on in later situations of more homework, if we can get rid of the homework problem, there won't be later situations of it. All these so-called benefits can't outweigh all the disadvantages that there are. Now, there are alternative ways to get the job done that homework tries to get done. First of all, there can be discussion in class. There can be actual educational, intellectual discussions in class where teachers actually talk to the students and teach them what they know, and students ask questions and get feedback from them. There doesn't have to be a bunch of papers taken home, a bunch of busy work to just make the students' life miserable and give the teachers more stuff to do, which is grading and causing a lot more trouble for everyone. Productive class time is important. If there's productive class time and people aren't goofing around and teachers aren't just sitting there watching the kids do whatever they want sitting on their phones, classwork can get done, and all that work that they send home can be done in the class, and there won't be any homework, all the stress and everything. So then finally I have this article. It's called special topic, the case for and against homework responding to changing demographics, is the journal. It's by Marzano and Pickering. They talk about how homework is a bad thing, but if you're going to do homework, they say that at least make it beneficial. Don't make it just busy work. If homework is a must, it needs to be something that's going to benefit the student, and it's not going to overwhelm them and stress them out. It needs to be a reasonable amount. It needs to be a quality amount. Now, for all these reasons, I believe that homework is not a good thing and needs to be done away with. For a long time, people have believed it to be a good thing and said homework needs to be done, but they're not seeing all these effects that it's having on students today. And I believe that homework really is the reason for some of the rebellion that we see in schools today, because they're being forced to do something they don't want to do. People aren't taking any regard for how students feel. They say, oh, they're just students. Of course, they don't want to do homework. They're going to do it whether they want to or not. It's humanity. Why make these students do something they don't want to do? Make it fun so that they can learn about it. Homework is something that needs to be rethought whenever it comes time for the teachers to come up with their curriculum. Homework is just not getting the job done, and there's much better ways for it to be done. So thank you.